great show.
It's going to be lovely.
Now, health-wise, let's have a chat about antibiotics, because it's Awareness Week, and I believe this is right across the world.
It really is. So World Antibiotic Awareness Week, and it is something that people don't tend to think too much about. If they're unwell, they go to the doctor, they get their script, they take their drugs.
Yeah.
You know, this is what we do. And on average, people in Australia take about 1.5 scripts of antibiotics a year, which doesn't sound too bad.
No.
But of course, I'm someone who, I think my last lot of antibiotics might have been 12, 15 years ago. So therefore, I'm not one of those people taking 1.5 scripts per year. Neither is my husband or my kids. So some people are taking more than 1.5 is what I'm pointing out.
Right.
So, and what happened, there's been a lot of, I know we've chatted about the microbiome a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
The microbiome is like the underlying core immune system, the combination of our core combination of microbiota, the different gut bugs that we have. And the theory is that we've got up to 4 generations of strength or deficits within our microbiome.
Mm-hmm.
So each time we have a bad generation where someone's been really unhealthy, has had to take lots of medications, or just has had poor health, they've got a weaker microbiome. So when they give birth, they're giving a weaker microbiome to their baby. In the same way, someone who eats plenty of greens and their nutrition's good and they exercise well and they're a more healthy human, they create a healthier microbiome for their baby. So the microbiomes, they are seeing that it's on a bit of a downward spiral with health at the moment. It doesn't tend to be getting better. It tends to be getting worse.
Yeah.
Now, antibiotics, this is a genetic thing, whether or not antibiotics destroy our microbiome. There's a couple of weird things here. Guys are 5 times less likely to destroy their microbiome from antibiotics as girls. The older we get, the more likely we are to destroy the microbiome, because it's sort of like about, 5-6 layers deep in the gut. So therefore we have to destroy our gut a little bit to destroy the microbiome, if that sort of makes sense. So whereas boys bounce back faster, girls not so fast, that then destroys the lining of the gut. And the lining of the gut is where the immune system is.
That's right.
So there's nothing wrong with taking antibiotics once in a blue moon if you're really sick and you think, right, this is a bacteria. Because a lot of people take antibiotics for viruses as well.
Yeah.
And a lot of doctors feel pressured into giving scripts as well. Someone takes a day off work and they go, come on, doc, I'm really unwell, I need to take something. But the doctor knows if it's a virus, it's not going to do anything.
In a lot of cases too, it's only going to take 1 day to fix it or start to feel better.
That's right.
So they're not required. Which brings me on to, over the last few years, there's been a lot of comment about antibiotics. If you take too many, they can actually they don't turn against you, but they stop fixing infections and so forth if you have too many.
That's right. And of course the whole superbug thing as well. I think part of it's because every time we take antibiotics, we're destroying a little bit of our healthy natural immune system.
Yeah.
So unless we're doing something in the background like echinacea or andrographis or vitamin C or probiotics, there's lots of things people can take to reboot their vitamin D, lots of things that people can do to reboot their immune system. So if we're taking antibiotics but they're not repairing the damage, because sometimes people need antibiotics. I'm not saying they don't.
Oh, sure.
But we've got to think about what damage we're doing when we take these medications, and then really try to fix it up. So so people are getting more antibiotic resistant, which is one of the big problems. So therefore, the fear is that a major superbug's going to hit people these days. Now about good old staph, for example. So people go to hospital, and it's one of the most common infections that people pick up. Now, part of it is that on the cell membrane, so I'm talking about a bacteria, so on the cell membranes there's these cute little things called an efflux pump.
Right.
I sort of love this. And what ends up happening, the antibiotic is designed to go into the belly of the bacteria through that efflux pump. Staph infections have been living in our bodies for so long, they now recognise those antibiotics. So part of the reason they're so resistant is that they grab the antibiotics and shunt it back out through another efflux pump.
Wow.
Isn't that amazing?
That's incredible. These little people inside.
They are just so cheeky.
And they're working.
They really are, and they're getting more clever. And I think one of the things that I say to my clients is the more unhealthy your body is, the more cheeky and stronger the bugs are in your gut.
Right, yeah.
So therefore, when you need something like antibiotics or something, you're less likely to have the good benefit you're after. You might need a 2nd, 3rd, 4th dose. But so staph particularly is something that, they know that about how it's built up this resistance.
Wow.
Which is why people can get, say, boils, or, some people with eczema, there can be
Yeah.
that little bit of yellowy pus. That's often staph
Yeah.
infections. People get sinus infections. That's very regularly staph infections. Like, staph is a really common bug. Most of us have it living in our body, but it's obviously when it becomes nasty that we know about it and it's a problem.
Well, it got me once, many years ago. I think it was around about 3 months before I was better.
Yeah, right.
It's a long one.
Yeah, and how did it affect you? Was it sinuses? Was it skin? Was it...
No, there was nothing on the body.
Yeah.
But it was just, it was in the leg.
Okay,
Where I'd had a cut.
Yeah,
And I went to
interesting.
hospital.
Yeah.
And I come home with staph, and it took a couple of months. I couldn't walk.
Yeah, one of my clients about 15 years ago, he was taking some, because we've got a herb, there's a herb called golden seal, and funnily it just happens to be called golden seal, but it's one of the ones that's proven to, in the background, actually kill staph infections. So it's probably one of my go-to herbs when people have a staph, because you can't muck around with it. No. Staph is really, it's nasty. It can end up getting into cells all over the body. So even if you suppress the symptoms with antibiotics, but you haven't taken care of the whole bug, it can be living somewhere else.
Wow.
Yeah. So I know people have had really nasty infections. That one of my guys got it in his hip socket. Once again 15 years ago, and he was basically told that they were going to have to amputate his leg. Oh. And then we were doing things like echinaceas and zincs and stuff, and he ended up keeping his leg, but the joint had actually been quite destroyed by the infection, because his doctors kept telling him, no, the herbs won't work, the antibiotics will do the trick, and it was just months of antibiotics. And anyway.
Okay, well, listen, I mean, when we're talking about antibiotics, Awareness Week, I guess there'll be a couple of people out there, hopefully not too many, who think, I better check and make sure I've got some tablets there, because it's Awareness Week, so I've got to be aware if I've got my tablets or not. Yeah, well, there's nothing to do with that. It's being aware of what the drug can do for you.
Yeah, and there's so antibiotics are designed for bacteria. They're not designed for viruses, and there is no way of your doctor knowing whether something is a virus or a bacteria without doing tests, swabs, that sort of thing. So if we go along, quite often the signs of a viral infection are going to be more things like fevers, joint pain, aches and pains, that sort of thing. That's more a viral infection sort of symptoms, shivers, and, when people get the shivers, and that's more viral, whereas bacterial is going to be it's different with everyone. It's more likely to be the sore throat, the cough, that sort of thing. Yeah. But nonetheless, even with me, there's no way of knowing. But naturopathically, we obviously work at boosting the immune system, and I always recommend that after people have been on antibiotics.
Oh, yeah.
And just to be aware that the drugs work really well for specific infections. But they can also destroy a huge amount of the good guys in the gut as well. So therefore, you're more likely, just say you've got an underlying candida or fungal infection in the gut and you're unaware of it, and then you wipe out all the bacteria, well, then there's no protection against the candida or fungus.
Oh, okay.
So that's why quite often people, that's when they go back to their doctor and say, now I've got this rash, or now I've got this itching going on. It's not a side effect of the antibiotic, it's because we've killed the good guys, and therefore something fungal or candida has sort of taken hold.
Well, we're talking about antibiotics. Now, we are mentioning that, a lot of times for people it doesn't work because they've had too many.
Yeah, that's right.
What about, are we working on a new drug to take up where antibiotics, the ones we've got at the moment?
Well, funnily enough, I heard last week that they are starting to look at more immuno-boosting drugs, which is a really good thing. So, because, with people with AIDS, they actually have antiviral drugs, but there's lots of big side effects of it. We've had the same antibiotics now for like 60 or 80 years, so they really haven't been changed. So when people go along, even if it's got a different name, it's often in the same family of drugs that really haven't been changed. So I was reading last week about a new antibiotic, that's what they called it, but really what it was doing was changing the T helper cells so they were more targeted. So T helper cells are the ones that fight either viruses or their T helper 1, 2 and 3 cells are ones I talk about all the time. So T helper 1 cells, they're the ones that kill cancer cells, they kill bacteria, they kill viruses, they kill candida fungus, they're really important. T helper 2 cells, when they're raised, we've got inflammation in the body, so things like eczema, dermatitis, asthma, And quite, you know, you can imagine it's like two sides of a seesaw.
Yeah.
So when we have too many of the T helper 1 cells, it's because we've got too many bugs in our system,
Right.
and the body's just trying to ramp it up to kill those.
All right. Well, on Antibiotics Awareness Week, we might take a little break.
We might.
And don't forget, we've got the tickets to give away a little later on. The ones I found on the floor, the ones Madonna was trying to hide from me. It's Wonderful Life, the live radio play at the Mandy Later RSL Hall, opens tonight. How long's it go for?
Oh, it's about 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Okay, it starts tonight.
Yeah. Oh, yes. Sorry. So
Until the 25th, is
yes,
it?
yeah. So it's Friday, Saturday this week, and Friday, Saturday next week. There's a matinee and an evening show next week.
Well, we've got a double to give away, so we'll do that very shortly, right here at 100.3 Bay FM.